We'll proceed now with the second part of our forum involving the City of New Ulm. Here we have our two mayoral candidates, Kathleen Backer and Bob Boisman. And this forum will follow the same format that we used with the City Council candidates. We'll have opening statements followed by questions from the audience and then closing remarks. The time limits are the same. And Kathleen Backer will make the first opening statement, and Bob Boisman will make the first closing statement. And I'll just remind everyone here in our audience that the ushers are here to take your written questions. We have paper and pens and pencils, and it's just reiterate how important it is for people to get involved and for these candidates to know from you what you believe are the important issues. So we will start with opening statements. Kathleen Backer will make the first opening statement.
First of all, thank you to the League of Women Voters for this opportunity. If elected and as your mayor, I will dedicate myself to making New Ulm the best place it can be, the best place for us to live. I will be accessible. I will advocate for New Ulm citizens. I will listen to you. I will connect you with commissions, with council members, and with city staff to assist you. I will be your voice to help you find solutions. With my leadership experience working with citizens of all ages and on various issues, I will bring experience, I will bring energy and accountability to the office of mayor. I was born and raised in New Ulm. I had the privilege of raising my children here, and I am proud of it. As an advocate, I will be a catalyst for change. My priorities will be to complete Highway 14, complete renew projects in a timely manner within budget, address housing issues, including affordable housing, and to retain and expand retail and economic base, and work with others to meet challenges and maximize all opportunities for New Ulm. By working together, we can move New Ulm forward to assure that it's a thriving community that we are all proud to call home. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Boisman?
I also would like to thank the League of Women Voters for putting this on. You know, you guys do this how many times every election cycle, and it's just fantastic that the City of New Ulm has a group like you to be informing, letting us all get better informed. I was born in Springfield, Minnesota, on a farm, and came to, well, you know, when you're from Springfield and New Ulm, you kind of have this little animosity, baseball players, et cetera, but I went to Mankato State to get my college education, elementary education. Elementary education. I got the beautiful opportunity to student teach here in New Ulm, where I met a beautiful girl, born and raised here, and I got my first job here and my only teaching job here. After 33 years, I got a chance to retire and continue on with other things. During those 33 years, it was interrupted a bit by my request to serve in the United States Army. And by that request, I also got a chance to go visit Vietnam. Before serving in the military, because of serving in the military, I get a chance to do a couple of extra things. I'm a member of the DAV, a member of the American Legion, and a member of the Comrades of Valor. And also, let's see, DAV, which one did I miss? I think I got all three of them in there somewhere. I'm especially proud of one of the organizations that I belong to, and that's the Comrades of Valor. And we are the group of veterans. I stop now?
Oh, yeah. We'll get back to that. Good. Thank you. Thank you both very much. Now, the League of Women Voters only provided one question to the mayoral candidates, but it's a good one. So this question was provided to these candidates in advance. So, Mr. Boisman, I will put it to you first. What do you view as the most important role or job of the mayor of New Ulm?
That's a difficult question, but yet it's also an easy question. The mayor's role is set out by the city charter. City charter says that the mayor is supposed to oversee all of the functions that's going on. And if there's any malfeasance, if there's any shenanigans or whatever word you want to use, it's the mayor's job to report to the officials affected or whatever. That's what's required of the mayor, but I think the most important part of the mayor's job is to be available to the citizens. I try to be in my office every morning, at least for more than 3 hours, and ready and willing to answer any and all questions. And if I don't know the answer, and many times I don't, I will find the answer and promise to get back to whoever asked the question, and hopefully we can work this out together.
Thank you. Ms. Becker?
As stated, the city charter lays out the responsibilities for the mayor, and when I look at them, there are several different and many areas that have the responsibility or the authority by the mayor. But I believe the most important role is to be an advocate for the city. And whether that is acting on behalf as ceremonial service purposes as an advocate for the city, whether it's acting as a catalyst for change if change is needed, or to maintain status quo if that's again acceptable. After all, if it isn't broken, why fix it? As an advocate, I'll listen to the citizens and in turn give them a voice. When it seems that they're not being heard, I will be there for them and to connect them with solutions. I will leverage, as an advocate in this community, leverage the private sector, business sector, and the government sector to find solutions for New Ulm. I see that as my responsibility as the advocate in the position of mayor.
Right, good. Thank you. Thank you. Now I'm working here to combine a couple of different questions that have come before us, so I might go a little longer than usual. And Ms. Becker, you'll be answering this first. As the state becomes more diverse, what will you do to make newcomers feel welcome in the community? And do you feel diversity is important to our city commission membership? And if so, how would you assure diversity is achieved and maintained?
I believe diversity is very important. I believe it's here. I think if we don't think it's here, we have a lot of educating to do and great opportunities to make all people welcome in New Ulm. The last thing we want to do is be off-putting not only to individuals and citizens that are here, but to potential business owners that may come in and think that we are narrow-minded or closed-minded. Presently, we do have our Humanities Commission, but I do understand in visiting with some individuals during these past weeks that there also is a committee of about 30 persons that is very concerned about the diversity issue in New Ulm, and they are working to listen and to try to find solutions, and along with that, to educate the citizens in New Ulm so that we are aware, because if you're not aware, you can't fix the problem. But again, there is that committee established, and I would make it my business to be a part of that group and to see if I can further their cause.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Boisman?
The question again, quick, please.
As the state becomes more diverse, what would you do to make newcomers feel welcome in our community?
I would do the getting the people to come out. Sometimes we have new people, they move in, and you don't even know that they're here. That you don't get a chance to see them because they're busy with their own life. And I think we need to make sure, as citizens, when that person moves into your house or into your neighborhood, make sure you go over, shake a hand, welcome them, and say anything you need, let us know. We're just next door or we're just across the street. And that would be the individual families that would be doing that. And as politicians, as the mayor, as city councilors, it is also our responsibility to go out. Diversity, yes, it's coming. One of the things that I did that I'm very proud of is all of our commissions are not one-sided. All of our commissions, as much as I can make it diverse, I keep telling people I don't like a good old boys club and I don't like a good old girls club. I like a combination because we work together. If you'll notice the signs that are popping up all over New Ulm, and not campaign signs, but the signs that are saying in several different languages, welcome, we're here. And I think the more we say, welcome, we're here, I don't think that we have to tell them that they have to be German, even though many of us have German nationality, but I think we can work together with their customs, our customs, German customs, Norwegian customs, and really make a even better city than New Ulm is now.
Well, thank you. Now, this might be considered a follow-up question. Maybe I should have split it out a little better, but with regard to membership on city commissions, how best should the mayor work to ensure that the commissions, the city commissions, which are appointed by the mayor, are diverse? That's sort of a follow-up question.
Well, yeah, this is what I've been trying to do ever since for the last 8 years, is to keep them diverse, keep them, like I say, male, female, not as equal as you can get it. If it's a 5-person commission, it's impossible. Or a 7-person commission. Sometimes there's not a male that wants to work on that commission, or sometimes there's a female that doesn't feel qualified to work on that commission. Sometimes you have to sell a person that, yes, you are, and yes, you can. So prove to me that you can. And we've had pretty good luck.
Good. Thank you. Ms. Backer?
Well, as the mayor, first of all, I would take a look at all of the commissions and the membership as it presently exists, and then to pause and look at the diversity piece. Also, I know there's an application process for individuals within the community to apply to sit on commissions, and if room and if it would be appropriate, so that we would have that diversity piece on a commission, yes, then I would move forward with that individual. If not, again, part of being the mayor, to be accessible, to be out there in the community and at gathering places, I would want to have people comfortable approaching me, talking about issues related to any of the commissions, and then make decisions about appointment to those commissions going forward.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. Now, this is a different topic. Ms. Backer will be addressing this first. The trucking industry is an important part of the community. J&R Schugel recently acquired a company that increased their size to 1,000 trucks. Highway 14 needs to be completed sooner than later. What can be done to speed up this process?
Well, wave a magic wand is not the answer. I know that this has been an ongoing issue going back into the 90s. I've talked with prior mayors that have served on the coalition, and it's not an easy solution. We know that construction is taking place out here at the interchange. We know that another section east of here is going to happen in 2019. And taking a look at the numbers, we're looking at about $100 million, give or take, on either side. and it's not scheduled and it's unfunded at this point. In the role as mayor of New Ulm and part of the Highway 14 coalition, first of all, I would want to make sure that it continues to be active. If you take a look at the development of Highway 14, it's almost finished, except for a few pieces, and the last piece relates to New Ulm. So I would want to make sure that we keep the coalition energized and continue the work going forward to make sure that it is scheduled and funded in the very near future.
Thank you. Mr. Boisman?
Yes, the coalition is very, very important. I had the pleasure of being president of the coalition for 3 years, and then 3 years as the outgoing. We've worked hard, and yes, it's all the way to this side of Nicollet. Long ways to go. At least it's money-wise, it's a long ways to go. However, there has been a committee that's been working, and we have a final project already drawn up. All we need is the money. It's a great project going around Cortland, giving Cortland access to the 4-lane, coming into New Ulm, undecided. There's 2 different ways of coming into New Ulm. One is all the way to the gateway. That is going to be finished in a year from now, or maybe cutting it at 37 and coming in on a nice stretch of 20th South or County Road, Nicollet County Road 37. It's there. The plans are there. They're good plans. They've been worked out with City Council of Cortland, City Council of Nicollet, Nicollet County Commissioners, etc. We've been working on it very, very hard. Now we need the money. And of course, we all know the only way we're going to get money is taxes. And that's the big point, because honestly, none of us want to pay taxes, or at least more taxes.
Thank you. It's an entirely different topic, and Mr. Boisman, you'll be addressing this first. Would you support a citywide, or maybe even twice, a citywide, excuse me, I'll start over. Would you support an annual citywide, or perhaps twice yearly citywide yard cleanup day to help with improving cleanliness of neighborhoods? And if so, how would you see that moving forward?
A neighborhood cleanup day, I believe there has been a few of those in the past, and maybe we lost sight of that. But what sounds great to me is neighbors getting together and working for a common cause of cleaning up their neighborhood. And if it means helping clean up some other neighborhood, we've already had that going with, oh boy, I just lost the.
Good. All right. Ms. Becker?
Well, United Way of Day of Caring is one, but also the groups of people that got together to the bush, and I just lost the bad bush that we've been pulling and jerking out. And
Buckthorn.
Buckthorn, there we go. We got the buckthorn going. Hopefully we're making big headways on that. Now there's a few more noxious weeds that have been popping up, and some volunteers have been doing that. This is great. We need this. And it shows that New Ulm wants to work together, wants to be a team.
Thank you. Ms. Becker?
Well, as mayor, I would make it an effort, community-wide, to engage the community in a process, whether we put together a committee that will address this, and whether they set up twice a year or 4 times a year to do neighborhood cleanup, I would support that. And supporting it from the mayor's office, I think, calls attention to it. And certainly, it would be an important piece to take care of. And we know that there have been efforts, like you say, this last weekend, but it's bigger than that from what I hear and talking with individuals. And so I would support at least 2 times during the year.
Thank you. Thank you. Next question and different topic. Ms. Becker, you'll address this first. What should the role of the mayor be in promoting tourism?
That should be an important role of the mayor. After all, the mayor represents the community at celebrations, for ceremonies, and having New Ulm be a destination for tourism, not only in the tourism as many of us see it, but also for recreational tourism. We have a lot of tourism that comes to New Ulm through programs, whether it's baseball, basketball, hockey, and so on. And I believe that the mayor should be a part of that. Again, promoting New Ulm is important. And as the mayor, I think people look to you to be that key person to be promoting New Ulm.
Mr. Boisman?
Absolutely. The mayor's job is to support the activities that are going on in the city of New Ulm. And of course, when there's tourism involved, you bet, be out front, welcoming people, whether they're a tourist or whether they're looking to be a new citizen of the city of New Ulm, to meet and greet as many people as you can. It's a little bit of a job, but boy, I tell you, I love it, and it's very, very important that the people are greeted. Whether it's one of our big festivals, and that keeps you busy. Just the few festivals that we have, and I kind of joke with the few festivals, but it's really great to be a person in New Ulm, and especially the mayor of New Ulm, to be able to take the time to meet people. Oktoberfest, wow. Puerto Rico, California, Dallas, Texas, all over, Alaska. They were here, and they love New Ulm.
Thank you. Continuing on with the mayor's role, and again, starting with Mr. Boisman, how do you envision the mayor's role in promoting the economic and social regional well-being of New Ulm for its citizens and its neighbors in southern Minnesota?
Well, a couple of ideas have been tossed out that kind of make some pretty good sense. In Mankato, they have the Greater Mankato growth. And it's not just Mankato, it's Mankato, North Mankato, and the circle around. Maybe this is what we should be doing. Maybe this should be Greater Brown County growth, or I don't want to say Greater New Ulm growth, because Brown County has got a lot of extra people besides just New Ulmites. So maybe what we would need is a greater Brown County growth, and work with Springfield, Sleepy Eye, Essex, etc.
Ms. Becker?
Could you please repeat the question?
Yes. What do you see the mayor's role in helping to promote the economic and social regional well-being of New Ulm for its citizens and neighbors in south central Minnesota?
Well, I believe that the mayor's responsibility and role would be to build those partnerships. First of all, we have business retention would be important in our own community. Sometimes we look at economic opportunities, but we forget to be thankful and appreciative of the base that we already have. So making sure that we're working with our present investors so that we can retain our economy, retain the retail, which then, of course, leads into the other services that we have in our community. But if you take a look at the economic base, we look at the way that can we bring more retail into this community. In visiting lately, I found that we have 24 new business upstarts in the last 2 years. How many of us know that? As a regular citizen, I wasn't aware until I started researching, and yet we've only lost 7. So I think that there is potential for us again, but we need to be partnering with the private sector, with the business sector, with the city, and with the chamber to make that happen, to realize a lot of the opportunities that we have out there and to maximize them.
Good, thank you. This is an entirely different topic, and Ms. Backer, you'll be addressing this first. What plans would you have to maintain the city parks and to expand pollinator habitat?
Wow. First of all, city parks. I'm an advocate for having city parks in every neighborhood. I believe they need to be accessible. I also support the showcase parks, but not at the cost or the
That's
expense
fine.
of
That's
having
fine.
a park in your neighborhood
This is fine.
that would be available
These
to
will be
you.
done. That's fine.
So that would be my first and foremost. And then going along with the parks, you have our showcase parks. I know that the Herman Heights Park was not accomplished just with tax dollars, but it was a combined effort with the private sector as well as fundraising from the New Ulm Medical Center Foundation. So if we want to have showcase parks, perhaps there's other ways to look at funding. As far as pollinating, I believe that, again, setting up some floral and some plants that we could attract and take care of the pollination, I'm all for it.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Boisman?
Parks, very important. Going way back to the history of New Ulm, I believe it was stated that there was supposed to be a park within so many blocks. Well, as we get bigger and actually we expand, it's quite expensive to maintain all these parks, but we should have them. One of the things that the Park and Rec started this year is the mobile park. They got all the toys or balls and games in a trailer, and they announce where they're going to be, where there isn't a park, so they have mobile parks. Good idea, great idea, but yes, we need parks. I love the showcase parks. I wish the park by my house was a showcase park, but it's a very good park. But again, yes, but that all takes money, and the more parks we have, the more Park and Rec employees we have. And of course, that's a very large budget right now. I'm not saying they should be cut back. I'm just saying that we need to work together.
Okay, good. Thank you. Speaking of working together, I'm going to ask everyone to complete any questions that they've got for these candidates so that we can make certain that we understand each of their positions. I'm going to ask rather an open-ended question, and Mr. Boisman will be answering this first. What is your vision for New Ulm, and what is needed to realize that vision?
Okay, let's see. Give me a second here. What my vision for New Ulm? A community that has great schools, that has great parks, that has great athletic activities, that is diverse, and we're not just, like I said earlier, we're not just Germans. We're of all races and nationalities, and all working together would be my vision of a fantastic city.
Ms. Becker?
My vision for this community would be that it's a thriving community, that it's the best place for those of us who live here that it could possibly be, and also a destination for others that visit. What would it take to make that happen? To revitalize our downtown. And I know that there's ongoing efforts, and I would fortify and support those efforts as in any way that I could, again, to leverage within the community and other opportunities outside of the community. I would want us to have a good school system, a good medical system, good parks and rec. We need to have activities and services for our seniors, and opposite of that, also services for our youth. So I would work through the established commissions, through the city council, and it would make my business to leverage within our business community and our private sector to realize that vision.
Okay, thank you. Another different topic here, and Ms. Backer will address it first. Is there a process in place to determine how to allocate or choose projects to be funded with EDA money? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Is there a process in place? I would have to say if there is, I'm not aware of that process. I know that economic development, we have the commission in town, which has monies available to reinvest in the community. I know that one of the things they're looking at is housing issues. We also have the economic authority within our city, and that they too are looking at options and all opportunities. So as far as priorities, I can't address that because I don't have that inside information. I know that housing is important. I know that growing our local business and investment, as an example, they're working presently. There's two things. I know that through the economic or the EDA that they're working to help Windings expand out on the west end of town. We also are looking at fortifying our retail by making an approach to the Bonton Company that is looking at coming back to Minnesota, and why not New Ulm? So while it's not just that entity, but it's them leveraging within the private sector and the community as well.
Mr. Boisman?
Repeat the question quickly for me.
Is there a process in place to determine how to allocate or choose funds to be, is there a process in place to determine how to allocate / choose projects to be funded with EDA funds?
With the EDA and their meetings, their monthly, actually commission, I guess you would call them, meetings, decisions are being made each month. Sometimes they switch and they make a different decision, but it's really interesting how hard this commission is working, with working together with other funding sources, et cetera, besides theirs. Yes, there's money there. Besides Windings, there's also now groundbreaking today for DLC. And DLC promises us that once he gets his building built, there's going to be more buildings built that have businesses connected to him. So I'm excited. I'm excited about being able to be out there with my shovel in the ground and kick off another new business, besides the great work that some of the other businesses have done in expanding.
Good. A different topic, and Mr. Boisman, you'll answer this first. Have you identified any organizations or groups in which you feel membership by the mayor would benefit New Ulm? And if so, what groups and why is that membership beneficial?
Well, what would it benefit New Ulm? Well, actually, active membership in the partnership, Highway 14 partnership, active membership of the group that put together the gateway. Those are a couple of the things that I've been actively involved in. Constantly, actively keeping the word U.S. Highway 14 in the ears of our representatives and senators.
Okay, Ms. Becker?
Well, I guess I'd have to piggyback on what he said. Obviously, the Gateway Committee and also the Coalition for Highway 14 would be very important. But I would see myself engaging in dialogue and conversation with mayors of other cities. I've reached out to a colleague of mine that works in Winona County back in 1980s. He and I were both executive directors of museums. And I called him because recently he has been elected to the mayor of Winona. And I said, I want to be just like you. And so I believe reaching out to others like you with like responsibilities and developing relationships so that perhaps developing regular meetings or some type of framework where we could get together and talk about issues and also solutions at that level with others in like responsibilities and positions.
Good, thank you. This sort of goes back into another topic that we covered earlier, and Ms. Becker, you'll address this first. What can be done to bring back retail to New Ulm? Should the mayor help promote smaller businesses, not just the well-known?
Yes. And what can be done? Well, I've talked to you a little bit earlier about having done some research, because it seems to me that when it hits the newspaper that Retzlaff's is closing, yes, it is doom and gloom, and it is difficult for us to process that. But We are not on an island by ourselves. This is happening across US of A. So what makes New Ulm different? What makes New Ulm attractive if you are going to continue to be investing in New Ulm and or invest here? And so I think it's important that we have good systems in place. We have a backdrop that no other community has. Again, going back to the German heritage or just the heritage of New Ulm, who has the backdrop that we have? Also through the Chamber. The Chamber is working, and I don't see this happening in Waseca or Fairmont. How many festivals do we have a year? And the Chamber fortifies that with other types of events, the shopping event, the women's event in early winter, late winter. And so I would support all of those efforts. I would support, again, the Chamber and the city working more closely together along with other committees and groups and leverage, again, that private sector to reinvest and support the cause.
Weisman?
Yes. All of this is very important, and I agree with everything that Ms. Backer has said. We are working together. We are working with mayors of other communities. I'm in constant contact with Nicolet's mayor, North Mankato's mayor, Mankato's mayor, became a very close friend of Rochester's mayor. We talked, and Rochester came back into the partnership. And once Rochester and the Mayo Clinic got back into the partnership for Highway 14, things started to move. They promised us that they were not going to leave us until it was to New Ulm. So I'm excited. I'm excited about the J&R Schugel improving and getting bigger. As you try to watch in the morning as trucks are leaving town, or in the evening as trucks are coming into town, Broadway is getting to be a real noisy street. And of course, that's the way you got to basically now got to go in and out. I'm very, very happy. I wish that the nation could reduce some of the regulations on truck drivers. The learning curve is very, very difficult for them. We've got all kinds of great things going on here. The City of New Ulm is working together. I think our city council, our chamber, people, our citizens are really taking a look at this community, and probably the nicest letter I've ever gotten in the almost 8 years of being mayor was this couple who said they came to New Ulm. They had no idea that there was a party going on. They loved everything, the way the city worked together to take the mud out of the little walkway by bringing in dirt, et cetera, all these things. And they signed the letter saying, here's our new address. And they're at the city park.
Thank you. Now, this will be the last question, and it's kind of an open-ended one, and Mr. Boisman, you'll be answering it first, and it's phrased this way. When you are elected or re-elected, what would you like to change or continue working on?
What would I like to change? More openness, more diversity, because, like I said, but then also more cooperation. An example on cooperation is the Garland. For some reason, I don't know what it is, but for some reason, the Garland going across Minnesota Street made Christmas. There was one thing missing: the lighting of that big tree we've got outside. We've changed that. We light the tree. We make another little mini celebration to our parade of lights. But this is going to take a lot of cooperation, because it's going to be very, very expensive to make the anchors safe and secure. So it's a huge amount of money, and I think it's going to take more than a citywide bake sale.
Ms. Becker, I'll repeat the question. When you are elected or re-elected, what would you like to change or to continue working on?
Well, if elected, what I would like to do is work on Highway 14. I want to continue the work. I want to finish that project. And so that is something I think is very important. Also, want to work with this community to energize it. I know we celebrate on celebrations, but let's be proud all the time, and let's exude energy and enthusiasm when visitors come here. If we're looking at diversity, that should not be an issue. We should embrace diversity, and I think that's an important piece of New Ulm. Is we're proud of our heritage, but let's reach out and make everybody proud to be a part of our community and invited and welcome.
Thank you. And now we'll move on to our closings. And Mr. Boisman, you have your closing statement.
Right. Again, thank you to the League of Women Voters for putting this together for us. I think I learned, and I think hopefully many of you in the audience have learned some things tonight. This is a great community, and the one thing that I love to tell people, we are so lucky to be living in New Ulm. If you are in another community and you get power from Exxon, or you get power from who knows has your power, and there happens to be an outage, you could be sitting here half hour, 45. No. You'd be sitting for maybe even a day without electricity. With our public utilities and in its hours, we can provide you almost continuous service. I think we have one of the best, least outages and shortest outages, period. And another push that I didn't catch before, but I'm catching now, please, is the fact that our PUC has been putting on demonstrations and speeches and called businesses in to say, we're wasting a lot of steam. How many stores do you go by in the middle of winter and they've got the doors open because it's too hot? There are controls for that. Yes, it costs money to keep it up, but yet you'd gain, and we would gain. So proud of our city, proud of our PUC, because we have electricity.
Thank you. Ms. Becker?
I too want to thank the League again for the opportunity to participate in this forum. I thank you, the audience, and those who will be listening to the broadcast. In summary, I love New Ulm, and I want to be your mayor. I believe it would be an honor and a privilege to serve you as your mayor. I have the skills and experience to serve you well. I have actively been working in New Ulm with citizens of all ages, whether it was as an elected school board member, a member of the Fair Board, the Oak Hills Board, the Herman Commission, the Renew Committee, Turner Hall, Chamber of Commerce, working with the CVB and the tourism committees, and now serving on the New Ulm Medical Board, the Foundation Board. In all of that, we were trying to work, and I've been trying to work to continually improve and find solutions in New Ulm. As your mayor, I will dedicate my efforts to help make New Ulm the best place to live. I will continue the work on Highway 14. I will assure that tax dollars are carefully spent. I will address housing, again, like I said, and affordable housing, and work to retain and expand that important retail base in our commerce base, and make sure that we are acknowledging those who have invested in our community and how much we appreciate and hope that they will continue and to expand their investment in New Ulm. By working together, I believe that we can achieve much, that we can meet the challenges and maximize the opportunities for New Ulm. I am proud to call New Ulm my home. Please vote for me for mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. And this concludes our forum this evening. And the League of Women Voters thanks you for your participation here this evening. We thank the candidates for mayor and the candidates for city council for sharing their views and their willingness to run for office. We thank everyone in the audience for their thoughtful questions and their participation. We thank our question screeners and our timers and the New Cat crew and KNUJ and the Journal. And again, tonight's forum will be available for viewing on New Cat's YouTube channel and on our league Facebook, probably by the end of the day tomorrow. So, and on the final most important note, if you need to register to vote or if you need more information about elections, talk to one of our members here tonight. In addition, you can find comprehensive information about elections in Minnesota on www.minvotes.org. Early voting has already started. Election day is November 6th. Vote. It counts. Thank you, and good night.